It allows us to more realistically test our abilities in a combat scenario. So we shoot live rounds, which are going to act differently in the tank than shooting the AGTS system, the computer system. You have to deal with the tank going down, parts not working. I had a part on my tank break today. So you have to learn how to fight through it and how to interact with all of your crew members in a more high intensity scenario.
I love it. Best job I ever had. There is nothing that is deadlier than an Abrams on the ground. You can level cities if you do it the right way with a company of Abrams. So if you have a proficient crew, the Abrams can handle essentially anything on the ground.
So far, these are fantastic scores coming up. People are really excited, they're really motivated to be out here and to be shooting table 6. They're hitting targets left and right. Coax engagements are going really well, and even the far targets that are really out there, the gunners are hitting their mark. So it's been a really good day for table 6 today.
The M1 Abrams is an American third generation. It is named after General Creighton Abrams. Highly mobile, designed for modern armored ground warfare, the M1 is well armed and heavily armored. Notable features include the use of a powerful multi-fuel turbine engine, the adoption of sophisticated composite armor, and separate ammunition storage in a blowout compartment for crew safety. Weighing nearly 68 short tons, it is one of the heaviest main battle tanks in service. 3 main versions of the M1 Abrams have been deployed: the M1, M1A1, and M1A2, incorporating improved armament, protection, and electronics. These improvements and other upgrades to in-service tanks have allowed this long-serving vehicle to remain in frontline service. In addition, development of the improved M1A3 version was first publicly disclosed in 2009. Extensive improvements have been implemented in the latest M1A2SEP V3 version. The M1 Abrams was developed during the Cold War as a successor to the cancelled MBT-70. The M1 Abrams contract went to Chrysler Defense and was the first vehicle to adopt TIFM armor. Adaptations before the Persian Gulf War, Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm, gave the vehicle better firepower and NBC, nuclear, biological and chemical protection. Being vastly superior to Iraqi tanks, very few M1 tanks were hit by enemy fire. Upgrades after the war improved the tank's weapons sights and fire control unit. The Abrams participated in the 2003 invasion of Iraq, exposing vulnerabilities in urban combat that were addressed with the Tusk modification. The Marine Corps sent a company of M1A2 Abrams tanks to Afghanistan in 2010.
They got out and immediately started doing maintenance because they understand the importance of the mission and the importance of doing well at gun range in the next few days. It is the basis of everything we do, and it's fun. You know, there's nothing better than being on a tank and
Earlier U.S. military vehicles, used from World War I through the Vietnam War, used a scheme of olive drab, often with large white stars. Prototypes. Early production M1 and M1A2 models switched to a flat forest green paint scheme. The large white insignia stars have also transitioned to much smaller black markings. Some units painted their M1S with the older Mobility Equipment Research and Design Command (MIRD) for color paint scheme, but the turn-in requirements for these tanks required repainting them to overall forest green. Therefore, even though a large number of the base model M1S were camouflaged in the field, fewer none exist today. M1A2S came from the factory with the NATO 3 color camouflage black/meta green/dark brown chemical agent resistant coating (CARC) paint jobs. Today M1A2S are given the NATO 3 color paint job during rebuilds. M1S and M1A2S deployed to Operation Desert Storm were hastily painted Desert Tan. Some, but not all, of these tanks were repainted to their authorized paint scheme. M1A2S built for Middle Eastern countries were painted in Desert Tan. Replacement parts, road wheels, armor skirt panels, drive sprockets, etc. are painted olive green, which can sometimes lead to vehicles with a patchwork of green and desert tan parts. Australian M1A2S were Desert Tan when delivered, but have undergone a transition to the Australian Army Vehicle Standard Disruptive Pattern Camouflage, a scheme that consists of black, olive drab, and brown. The U.S. Army can equip its Abrams tanks with a Saab Barracuda camouflage system, which provides concealment against visual, infrared, thermal infrared, and broadband radar protection.